Yeah. Big gun. Big gun. Out my house. And it say, I'll shoot you. No, I'll shoot you. I'll shoot you. Don't do that. Come on, bro.
This is Robin Phillips, a 29-year-old woman from Detroit who walked into a home hair appointment on a Thursday evening in March and walked out at gunpoint shaking, with her young daughter standing right beside her watching the whole thing go down.
She grabs an AR. So I didn't know that's what she was going up there to grab. So she went upstairs to grab the AR. She's like, you're not leaving out of here until you run me my money. So.
And before you even think this was some kind of deep beef or a major money situation, the difference between what she was advertised and what she was being held at gunpoint to pay was $10. A haircut turned into a hostage situation over $10. And this is not even the wildest part of the story, because where this ends up in court and what the woman with the gun said on Facebook afterward is on a whole different level.
Bury you over $10. She was saying that, yeah. She said, I will bury you over $10.
So let me take you back to where all of this started, because the setup matters. Justice Angelique Danielle Snell is a 31-year-old Detroit woman who was running a home-based hair braiding and styling business out of her house on the 1100 block of West Forest Avenue near Detroit's Midtown area. She went by a few different names publicly, Justice Eland and Justice Angelique being the main ones, and she was running her whole operation through her Facebook page under the handle @justice.angelique. About 6,000 people followed that page before any of this happened. She was not some secret underground stylist. She was out there posting finished looks, putting up booking info, running specials, and doing what a lot of independent braiders in Detroit do to build a client base through social media. Her regular pricing included medium knotless braids for $155 with hair included, other styles from $100 to $130, and kids' braids. Nothing about that setup is unusual. Home-based braiders are everywhere in Detroit and in Black communities across the country, and most of the time the whole thing works on trust and word of mouth. You see an ad, you text the number, you show up, you get your hair done. That is the system. And in early March of 2026, Snell was running a special that she called the 313-Day Deal, named after Detroit's area code, with certain styles going for $31.30 from March 1st through March 11th. She put that promotion on Facebook with the pricing clearly listed. Robin saw that ad and booked an appointment for herself and her daughter. She came through the way any regular client would, expecting to pay the advertised rate. That is not an unreasonable thing to expect when you book based on a posted price. Robin showed up at Snell's house on the night of March 6, 2026, at around 9:58 in the evening with her boyfriend and her young daughter. The hair got done, and then when the bill came out, it was not what the ad said. According to Robin, Snell demanded more money than the promotional rate she had advertised on Facebook. Robin said she only had $150 on her and offered everything she had. She ended up paying the higher amount, even though the price she was being charged was not what she had agreed to when she booked. Most people in that situation would pay and leave, maybe warn a friend later or drop a bad review somewhere. Robin paid and tried to walk out the door. That should have been the end of it, and for a reasonable person, it would have been, but Snell was not done. Now, here is a detail that is important to hold on to before we get into what happened next. There is no record of any prior criminal history for Snell anywhere in Wayne County records, Michigan court databases, or any news archive. No prior arrests, no documented violence, nothing. She had a regular business, a following on social media, and by every surface-level measure, she was just another independent stylist trying to make her money. Because when Robin tried to leave that house after paying the higher price she had been pressured into, Snell was still holding the scissors she had been using during the braiding session and allegedly started waving them around.
She had the scissors in her hand. She already had the scissors in her hand. She says, if you're not going to pay me, then I'm gonna cut your daughter's hair. She just kept waving the scissors around like this, And I was just like, just basically trying to calm her down, like, please do not do that.
Robin kept her composure and tried to talk Snell down. She was not escalating or arguing back. She was trying to get herself, her boyfriend, and her daughter out of that house without anybody getting hurt. But instead of letting them leave, Snell ran upstairs.
So she runs upstairs and she grabs an AR. So I didn't know that's what she was going up there to grab. So she went upstairs to grab the AR. She's like, you're not leaving out of here until you run me my money.
Prosecutors allege Snell pointed the firearm at Robin's face and made multiple direct threats. And you can actually hear some of what happened in the video that Robin's side captured on a cell phone during the confrontation.
I want more money. I want more money. So I'm just like, here, just take it. I gave her basically everything that I had.
Big gun, hoe! Yep. Big gun! Big gun! Out my house! And it say, I'll shoot some stuff. No, I'll shoot you. I'll shoot you. Don't do that.
She said, I will shoot you. I will bury you over $10. She was saying that, yeah. She said, I will bury you over $10. So we pushed past her. We had to get out of there.
Robin, her boyfriend, and her daughter physically pushed past Snell and got out of that house. Nobody was physically hurt, which honestly, given everything Robin described, feels like the best possible outcome for what that situation could have been. Some reports also note that Snell allegedly cut braids out of Robin's hair at some point during the escalation, though that specific detail did not appear in the official prosecutor's summary. What is confirmed is that once they got outside, Robin and her family went straight to a Detroit police precinct and filed a report that same night. The cell phone video that caught parts of the confrontation, including the gun visible on screen and Snell's threats, was already spreading on social media while Robin was still at the precinct.
Just distraught right now because she did all of this for what, when we could have just simply just handled it, like adults.
Tonight at 6, a Detroit woman has a gun pulled on her after getting her hair done. It was all about a dispute over the cost of the service, and some of it was caught on video. Fox 2's Camille Amiri spoke to the woman about the ordeal. She joins us now live with more. Camille, this is definitely something I haven't heard before.
Yeah, this is a wild story. So Robin Phillips saw an ad for a discount at this hairdresser's house. So she decided to take advantage of that discount. She booked an appointment for her and her daughter to get their hair done. When the services were over, the hairdresser said she was charging her more money. It wasn't what the discount price was advertised as. Robin Phillips said she ended up paying the higher price anyway. And then she says this happened.
Big gun, hoe! Yep. Big gun! Big gun! Out my house! And it say, I'll shoot some stuff. No, I'll shoot you. I'll shoot you. Don't do that.
Okay, so after this whole thing, Robin and her boyfriend and her daughter went to the police department, one of the precincts, and filed a report, showed that video, not the part that we showed you, but the actual face of the woman, showed the police the video of the woman, told them where she was located, filed a report, and she said she's really hoping, she wants to tell this story, but she really hopes that people will learn from it and hopes that this will not happen to them. Of course, it's going to be interesting to see if police do arrest this woman, this hairdresser, and to see what happens next. Reporting live in Detroit, Camille Amiri, Fox 2 News.
I mean, the difficulty of these kind of home offices, so to speak, when you're doing business out of your home, it poses obviously kind of a precarious situation, not just for the person working in the home in some cases, but also customers.
Yeah, and the thing is that the gun, I mean, you saw it in the photograph, right? It looks real. Yeah. Some of the comments on social media, they're saying that this is a pellet gun. Robin says she doesn't care what it was. When she had a gun pointed to her, that's all she could think was that it was real. So a lot more to come on this one. Root, back to you.
Of course there will be, we imagine. Thanks so much, Camille Amiri, for us live tonight. Thank you.
After the video went viral and Robin's story started getting covered by local news in Detroit, Snell decided she was going to give her own version of events on Facebook. And this is where things get really interesting, because what she posted is the kind of thing that makes you understand why her own supporters in the comments were warning her to stop talking. On March 7th at 5 in the morning, Snell posted on her Facebook page and admitted that she did retrieve a weapon during the confrontation. Her claim was that it was a pellet gun, not a real firearm, and she said she grabbed it because she wanted them out of her house, not because she was actually going to shoot anyone. She wrote that she had been alone in the house during a price argument and that she was scared. She also mentioned, completely voluntarily, that her actual preferred weapon is a shotgun, which is a strange detail to just throw out there in your defense post, but there it is. 3 days later, on March 10th, she came back on Facebook and declared the case dismissed, accusing Robin of lying to the police, lying in her news interview, and lying on a GoFundMe page. She also accused Robin of trying to stab her and said she had acted in self-defense. Here is the problem with all of that. Even if the weapon was a pellet gun, openly admitting on social media that you took it out and pointed it at someone during an argument in your home is still an admission that directly supports the exact felony firearm charge she was facing. People in her own comments section were telling her this. One person wrote, "A gun is a gun, it's the intent," and another warned her that the state gone pick it up if it's felony firearm charges. She was making her defense case on Facebook while her actual court date was being scheduled. None of those posts have been corroborated by authorities, and none of them changed the direction of the charges. On March 13, 2026, Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy's office officially charged Snell with 1 count of felonious assault, which is assault with a dangerous weapon under Michigan law, and 1 count of felony firearm. She was taken into custody, booked at 7:54 that evening under Wayne County booking number 2026-00002285, and arraigned that same afternoon in 36th District Court. The initial bond was set at $20,000 cash or surety with a GPS tether requirement. A bond hearing on March 16th brought that down to $2,000 cash with the tether still in place, and as of now, Snell is out on electronic monitoring, meaning she is at home with a GPS ankle monitor while the case moves through the court system. The charges are serious. Felonious assault in Michigan carries up to 4 years in prison and a fine of up to $2,000. The felony firearm charge is the one that makes this situation harder for her, because Michigan law requires a mandatory 2-year sentence on top of whatever she receives on the assault charge, running back to back rather than at the same time. That mandatory structure is built into the law specifically so that using a gun during a felony always adds real time, regardless of the circumstances. The preliminary examination before Judge Patricia Jefferson is scheduled for March 30th in 36th District Court, and that is when prosecutors have to lay out their full evidence under oath, including the cell phone video, Robin's testimony, and any forensic details on the weapon that have not been made public yet. What happened to Robin Phillips is extreme, but it is not happening in a vacuum. Detroit has a large and well-known informal hair service economy, and it has been the site of some of the most sudden and violent situations you will find anywhere, in spaces that most people walk into thinking nothing could go wrong. And looking at 2 other cases from Detroit shows you exactly how fast things can go sideways when there are no rules, no security, and no oversight in the room. In January of 2022, a hair salon on Livernois Avenue on Detroit's west side turned into a crime scene during what should have been an ordinary evening. On January 22nd, at around 7:20 at night, a verbal argument broke out inside the salon between a man named Dondre Rashad Mitchell, 36 years old, and 3 other Detroit men. Nobody who was there that night walked in expecting any of what happened next. According to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, that argument moved from words to gunfire in seconds. Mitchell allegedly pulled out a handgun and opened fire, hitting all 3 men. 28-year-old Deontay Snow was shot in the torso and died at the hospital, while the other 2 men survived. Mitchell turned himself in 2 days later and was charged with first-degree murder, 2 counts of assault with intent to murder, and 3 counts of felony firearm. A regular salon visit, an argument, and 1 man dead before anyone had time to process what was happening. That is the reality of these informal spaces. No security, cameras in most cases, or staff to step in. You are either a client in the chair or the stylist standing behind it, and the only thing standing between you and a bad outcome is the mood of whoever else is in the room that day. And then there's the case that is still wide open right now as of today. On November 14, 2025, a 20-year-old man went to get a haircut at what turned out to be an unauthorized after-hours barbershop running out of the back of Charles Wright Academy of Arts and Science on Berg Road in Detroit. A contracted janitor at the school had been using the building after hours to cut hair without any authorization from the district. The young man had texted the janitor to book a cut, showed up, and sat down in the chair. While he was getting his hair done, a man named Dalveen Nickerson walked in and shot him. The victim died. The janitor was present and witnessed everything, but was not hurt. Police say the victim and Nickerson knew each other, though no motive has been publicly released.
Police are investigating some unusual circumstances around a fatal shooting at Charles Wright Academy. The shooting happened around 6:45 p.m. behind the school when no staff or students were inside. Officers were alerted when a shooting victim showed up at a local hospital. The investigation led them back to the school and a member of the janitorial staff. Police say this staff member was running an unauthorized haircutting operation out of the back of the school, and that's where the shooting took place. The school district says they had no idea this was going on, and it's definitely not allowed. The victim later died at the hospital. At this time, there's no word on charges or exactly who fired the gun. Now, we did reach out to DPSCD for comment on this shooting, and a spokesperson told us the incident involved a contracted custodian and individuals who are not part of the school community. The district is cooperating fully with law enforcement as this investigation continues.
Nickerson has been running ever since, with the Detroit Police, Redford Township Police, and the U.S. Marshals Service working to find him. He was spotted in Redford Township in November, got away on foot after a traffic stop and a short chase, and just yesterday, on March 25th, the U.S. Marshals confirmed they believe he has now left the Metro Detroit area entirely. There's a $5,000 reward out for information on his location, and he is still free right now. 3 different situations, different sets of people, but the same thing holding them all together. An informal space, cash changing hands with no paper trail, no oversight, and no protection for anyone involved when things go wrong. Snell's preliminary examination is set for March 30th. Snell is at home on an ankle monitor. The video is still out there, and Robin has already said everything she came to say.
Big gun! Big gun! Out my house! And it say, I'll shoot you. Don't do that. Come on, bro.
I'm just distraught right now because she did all of this for what, when we could have just simply just handled it, you know, like adults. I mean, she said, I will shoot you, I will bury you over $10. She was saying that, yeah, she said, I will bury you over $10. So we pushed past her. We had to get out of there.
All individuals charged in this story are presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Who do you think was wrong in this situation? Let me know in the comments section. Also, click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this. See you in the next one.